Hey everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome back to another episode of Raven Creek Park. And today this episode is a little bit of a more of a special one, or a more of a different one, let's say it that way, because we are not building any habitat, we are not building any exhibit or a huge building. We are doing a few bits here and there, updating and finishing some areas in the zoo that have been neglected for quite some time. You see one of them already in the background. We are finally finishing the big plaza in front of the grizzly bear habitat that has been that stayed empty for, as I said, quite some time. And we will do that with a couple areas. We will also continue that in the next video next week, where we also will finish some areas here in this forest area, as we want to call it. In this video, as I said, we are building on the plaza. We're adding a toilet building to the plaza. We are also adding an ice cream truck that has been made by the wonderful Topes, a wonderful member of the community. He made this ice cream truck for me. It's also on the workshop. I will link the workshop page down in the description so you can download it yourself. He made this wonderful ice cream truck for me, and we will finally use it here in Raven Creek. But we are also building and finishing the indoor area for the Lynx. If you might remember, a couple episodes ago I built the Lynx habitat. It was before the Twilight DLC, and I never really finished the backstage area for them. So that will be done this episode. And as you might remember, if you have watched the skunk and raccoon habitat episodes, they didn't have a backstage area, because it was always the plan to have their backstage areas in the Lynx building. So you will see later when we come to this building that I also will build some, let's say, winter quarters. Winter quarters for them. So when it's really cold outside, we can bring them inside, and then we have an indoor area for them until the temperatures get warmer again. So because these builds are, not really that interesting or special, there will also no real-time part at the end. You may have noticed that there was no panorama shot, flyover shot at the beginning of this episode. That we will do at the end. And next episode, once we have finished all the little changes and things that I have to update here in this area, we will do a full tour of all of them, so you get the grand picture of all the changes and how it finally all fits together before we move on with the next area. So to recap, nothing big and exciting today, just some changes here and there. No real-time part at the end, just some scenic, atmospheric pictures at the end. And next episode at the end, we will have the real-time part where we look at all the changes. But before you turn off or watch something different, there is a reason to maybe continue watching, because today, when I record this video on the 29th of November, Planet Zoo announced that there will be a special live stream on this Tuesday, the 1st December. Again, hopefully with the wonderful Eld and Tim. Amazing, much love to you guys. If you watch these videos, I really appreciate you too. But they announced a special live stream on the 1st of December, so on Thursday at at 19 p.m. so 7 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Middle Time, I don't know, but British time. And a special live stream for people who have been part of the Planet Zoo community for a bit longer means one thing, and this is really important. It means news to an upcoming DLC. They don't specifically say it, but every time we got news to a DLC, they had like a special live stream. They don't say what DLC it will be and what animals will be, but they give hints for the DLC in mostly very creative way. We had things like drawings, we had things like pottery, where they drew parts of the animals on pottery. Last time we had spooky stories, spooky campfire stories about these animals. We also had like a Christmas story for the Europe DLC. So they always imagine a clever and funny way to present us or to give us hints for the upcoming DLC and what animals it may contain. And yeah, on this Thursday, it seems like it is again the time, and most likely usually a day after this live stream, so on Friday would it be this time, they usually make an announcement for the upcoming DLC, and then we know what we will get. But at the moment, as I record this, and at the moment when you watch this, when this goes live, so on Wednesday, there hasn't been anything announced. At least I don't know anything that has been announced. So I thought we do something that I usually don't really do, or I haven't done for now, and also would be nice to have while we are just watching me building these things here. Like I finished the Plaza almost, and now I'm going over to the Lynx Backstage areas. So I thought we do a little bit of speculation, or I tell you guys which 3 DLCs I could see coming for this game, or which DLCs I would see most likely, some maybe also which are more popular at the moment in the community on the wish list. And you can tell me, of course, in the comments what your ideas are, what you guys would want to have for this DLC, because at the moment it's very much a wild card what we might get. We have no clue whatsoever what the next DLC could be. Many people will now say, oh, okay, we have a clue, because this brings me to my first idea, and I think the idea most people are now believe would be the next DLC, or at least one of the upcoming DLCs, and that's of course birds. Birds have always been wanted in the community. They are, since the beginning of the game, we want birds, and last DLC in the Twilight DLC, Plaza added the walk-in exhibit habitat with the Egyptian fruit bed, so and flying animals, so to say. Of course, they still behave and act like normal exhibit animals, but it's a flying exhibit animal, and this leads many to speculate that birds are just around the corner. A bird pack, of course, would contain many species. I am expecting the next DLC to be an animal DLC, so that's why I maybe tell them or count more than 1 species or 4 species I expected to be an animal DLC. But yeah, many different bird species like eagles, vultures, of course parrots, toucans, lorikeets, or even small hummingbirds for an exhibit style. Or maybe even ground birds like the amazing shoebill stork or crowned crane. So many different bird types that are just reminiscent for any real life zoo. And of course, every zoo in the world, even if it's just a small animal park, has birds to some capacity. So it's very interesting that we don't have them yet. So there has to be a reason for them to not include them. Of course, it isn't certain, only because Frontier added the exhibit doesn't mean they immediately will add birds with the next DLC. We saw it in the past with like the brachiation for the Siamangs, that we don't got another animal that uses brachiation technique, or the underwater vegetarian feeder that they added with, I think, the North America pack, and only with the second DLC after that DLC with the Red Dance pack we got an animal that also uses them. So only because Frontier adds a feature doesn't mean the next DLC will also use that feature. But I think it would be kinda weird that they introduce that new exhibit type and don't use it again in the future. Does it mean birds for sure? No. It means that it can be used in the future, but it doesn't guarantee birds. Would it be cool? Yes and no, but I think for that I would have to do another video, because while the exhibits are very cool, they have some flaws that I think many other people also commented already about. I know Rudy did, for example, but it's at least something. The second idea or DLC I would have in mind would be a South America DLC. either South America or a tropical rainforest DLC, but I'm leaning more toward South America because South America is not only a rainforest. And yeah, there I could see stuff like the main wolf, which is on the wish list for many players for ages on mine too. Spectacled bear, peccaries, coatis, hola monkeys, spider monkeys, maybe even sloths that could use the new exhibit type also. So a walk-in exhibit with sloths, so they don't have much animations, would be rather fitting for them. So also we can guarantee that they stay on the trees. South American DLC, however it's called, maybe South America Animal Park, South America 2, because we already, of course, had South America Pack, which was lacking in quite some animal species. But yeah, I can see that happening at some point, or at least I hope we get a DLC, whatever it is about, that gives us more South American species, because this area, as long with Oceania, Australia, is still lacking massively in species, while South America is one of the most biodiverse areas in the world, which is still, it's really a shame that it isn't in the game. And the third DLC that I can see also more tying in towards the colder climates, because Frontier tends to give us a colder climate DLC around Christmas. We had the Arctic DLC and the Europe DLC last year. The aquatic DLC was a bit of an outliner, but yeah, more of a colder climate DLC idea would have and would really be cool. Would be a mountains DLC with different animals from mountains around the world, like Tarkins and Markor from Asia, Wolverines, or bighorn sheeps from North America and Europe, or even more European species like the chamois, or other goat species, even something like yaks, so a half domesticated species would be cool. So really emphasis on these mountain areas, where we could even see that the ibex climbing mountain enrichment piece could be used by these species, by stuff like the Markor or the Tarkin. So this enrichment item isn't only for the ibex. I really hope they also added to be accessible for the sheep, the snow sheep or something from the Arctic pack. Forgot the name, but I have hoped you could use it, but can't. Maybe that gets chance in the future. So a mountain pack and mountain animal pack would fit the colder climate of this time of the year. Could bring us even some bear species that we might like or still miss, like spectacled bear again, or the black American black bear. I know some people aren't really fussed about more bear species, but there are still some cool out there. So these three are my hottest contenders for the DLC. Of course, there are other DLCs possible, like an Oceania pack, an islands pack, as I said, a rainforest pack, even some say a primate pack. But out of them all good. But the ones I would love, or I would really like to see, as I said, South America, mountains, and maybe birds. I'm not too sure that we will get birds, for the reasons I said. It doesn't, only because we got the exhibit doesn't mean we get birds. And as I said, many, me included, and also Rudy, said that while the exhibit is nice, how it's implemented could have been better, and the animations could have been better, because they are sometimes very redundant, and you notice really fast that they are on a loop. So if we get a birds pack, I hope they change that up a bit, and they make something out of it. Maybe even different exhibit sizes. But yeah, as I said, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the whole matter, what you think they are. And as I said, maybe we are lucky, and on Friday we will see us again in a video where I tell you what the next DLC will be, and if I was right or wrong. So it would be funny to see if my predictions, at least in some cases, hit. As I said, we say in German, hit the nail on the head. Was correct. I'm not so sure, but we will see. So I will leave you to the rest of the video, the last seconds with some music, and then, as I said, I see you in the next video. Have a great time, stay safe, and bye bye.